The power of oligarchs and the path to change. In contemporary society, the concentration of power and wealth among a select few, often referred to as oligarchs, poses a significant challenge to democracy and equality. These individuals and corporations wield immense influence over the economy, media, and political landscape, shaping policies and public discourse to serve their interests. However, as Bernie Sanders emphasizes, this power is not insurmountable. Through organization and collective action, we can challenge and defeat the oligarchs, fostering a more equitable society. The power of oligarchs. Oligarchs, typically billionaires and large corporations, hold a disproportionate amount of wealth and influence. In the United States, for instance, the wealthiest 1% own approximately 40% of the nation's wealth, while the bottom 90% own just 27%. This disparity translates into significant control over the economy, with corporations influencing markets, labor practices, and consumer prices. Their economic power often extends into the political realm, where campaign donations and lobbying efforts shape legislation and policy decisions. Media ownership further amplifies their influence. A handful of conglomerates control much of the mainstream media, allowing them to shape public opinion and set the narrative on critical issues. This consolidation can limit diverse perspectives and marginalize voices advocating for systemic change. The challenge in optimism. Acknowledging the power of oligarchs is crucial, but it is equally important to recognize the potential for change. Bernie Sanders' optimism is rooted in the belief that organized collective action can counterbalance the influence of the wealthy elite. History illustrates the effectiveness of such movements. From the labor rights movement of the 20th century to the civil rights movement, where organized efforts led to significant societal shifts. Historical precedents. The power of organization. History offers numerous examples where organized movements have successfully challenged entrenched power. The civil rights movement of the 1960s, through coordinated nonviolent resistance, achieved landmark legislative changes. The labor movement of the early 20th century fought for workers' rights, resulting in better wages, safer conditions, and union protections. More recently, movements like Occupy Wall Street have highlighted issues of income inequality, sparking global conversations and inspiring policy reforms. Path to change. Defeating oligarchs requires more than sporadic protests or social media campaigns. It demands strategic, sustained organization and activism. Grassroots movements, such as those fighting for a living wage, healthcare reform, and environmental justice, exemplify the power of collective action. These movements rely on community engagement, education, and advocacy to challenge the status quo and push for policy changes that benefit the majority rather than the few. Organizational strategies include building coalitions, engaging in voter registration drives, and supporting candidates who prioritize public interest over corporate donations. Educating the public about issues like wealth inequality and media consolidation is also vital, as informed citizens are better equipped to demand accountability and transparency. That's a wrap. While the power of oligarchs is undeniable, it is not invincible. Through organization, education, and collective action, we can challenge their dominance and create a more just society. Historical precedents demonstrate that systemic change is achievable when people unite towards a common goal. As Bernie Sanders succinctly puts it, if we are well organized, they can be defeated. The path to change is daunting but feasible, requiring perseverance and a commitment to democracy and equality. Together, we can build a future where power rests with the people, not the privileged few.